Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare quarter-dollar coins, cause some of these coins hold an incredible history, and some are worth millions. So today, we are gonna uncover the rarest varieties and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're talking about one of the most iconic and celebrated coins ever minted in the United States, a piece of American history that might just turn out to be worth more than you ever imagined. That's right. We're going on a journey through time to explore the fascinating story of the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter, the special bicentennial quarter. Now, at first glance, this coin might seem like just another quarter. You've probably seen one. You might even have a few lying around. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Because while millions were made, only certain versions, with unique traits, rare minting errors, and exceptional preservation, are worth serious money. And when I say serious, I mean jaw-dropping. But before we get into the value, let's talk about the history behind this coin. In 1976, the United States celebrated its 200th birthday, and to mark the nation's bicentennial, a special edition of the Washington quarter was released. Unlike the regular quarters, which display a single date, these coins feature a dual date, 1776 to 1976, commemorating 2 centuries of American independence. On the obverse side, we still have the classic image of George Washington. But flip it over, and instead of the usual eagle, you'll see a beautiful and symbolic design, a colonial drummer boy, complete with a torch surrounded by 13 stars representing the original colonies. This design was created specifically for the bicentennial and stands as a proud symbol of American spirit and revolution. Millions of these quarters were released into circulation. So, you might be wondering, what makes some of them so valuable? Let's start with one word: rarity. Although the bicentennial quarter was mass-produced, there are certain limited versions and minting errors that make some of these coins highly collectible and worth thousands, yes, thousands of dollars. These rare coins are what collectors dream about. First up, composition matters. Most of these quarters were made from the usual copper-nickel clad material, but a small number were struck in 40% silver, especially those minted for collectors and included in special mint sets. If you have one of those silver versions in pristine condition, you already have something much more valuable than the typical coin. Next, let's talk about mint marks. You'll often find these coins minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. The San Francisco mint release proof versions mirror-like coins that were never intended for general circulation. If you have an S-mint proof coin that has been preserved perfectly, you're already holding a piece with real collector value. But what really sends the value skyrocketing? Minting errors. There are a few kinds of errors that make this coin incredibly valuable. One of the most famous is the double die error, where parts of the design, like the date or the inscriptions, appear doubled due to a misalignment in the minting process. If you see a 1776 to 1976 quarter with doubled lettering or numbers, do not overlook it. That's a potentially rare find. Then there's the off-center strike, where the design isn't properly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank and creating a visually stunning error that collectors go crazy for. Or even more exciting, the wrong planchet error, where the coin was mistakenly struck on a blank mint for another denomination. These are extremely rare and command high prices at auction. And don't forget about the full drum lines on the reverse side. Similar to full steps on Jefferson nickels, coins that show every fine line on the drummer's instrument indicate a sharp, high-quality strike. These coins in mint state condition are harder to find and more valuable. Now here's the kicker: condition is everything. The cleaner, shinier, and more flawless the coin, the higher its grade, and the more valuable it becomes. Coins graded MS 65 and above, mint state with few to no imperfections, are where things start getting really exciting. Imagine finding one of these bicentennial quarters in your drawer. Maybe it's been there for years, untouched. And then learning that it's not just pocket change, it's a treasure. Because here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter with a rare minting error, in pristine, uncirculated condition, perhaps even struck on a silver planchet or with a dramatic misstrike, then that one simple coin, that tiny piece of American history, could be worth as much as $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. $83,000. So the next time you're digging through old coins, checking under your car seat, or rolling up change for the bank, keep your eyes peeled. Because among those ordinary quarters could be a coin that tells a story and makes you a fortune. Top 2, we're talking about a modern coin that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. It looks ordinary, feels ordinary, but in the world of coin collecting, this little piece of metal might be hiding something truly extraordinary. That's right. Today, we're shining the spotlight on the 2021 Washington quarter dollar, also known as the Crossing the Delaware quarter. At first glance, it might seem like just another 25-cent piece. But hold on, because this coin holds a story rich in American history, unique design, and for a few extremely rare versions, a value that will blow your mind. Let's take a moment to explore the background of this beautiful coin. After more than a decade of the America the Beautiful quarter program, the U.S. Mint returned in 2021 to a more traditional design featuring the father of our country, George Washington. But this wasn't just any portrait. On the obverse, Washington faces right, a nod to the original 1932 design. But the real standout is the reverse side, a bold, striking image of General George Washington leading his troops across the Delaware River during a critical moment of the American Revolutionary War. This isn't just a coin, it's a tribute to courage, leadership, and the birth of a nation. Millions of these quarters were minted for circulation. So naturally, people assume they're common, and in general, they are. But in the world of numismatics, the devil is in the details. And the real magic happens when rarity meets perfection, or better yet, when minting errors transform an everyday coin into an absolute treasure. So, what should collectors look out for with the 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter? First, let's talk about rare errors, because this is where things get seriously exciting. Point one of the most sought-after errors in this coin is the cut error, a type of die break that causes an extra blob of metal to appear along the rim of the coin. This happens when a piece of the die breaks off and metal fills the void. On some 2021 quarters, cut errors have been found near the E in Liberty or around the rim on the reverse, and collectors are paying a premium for them. Then there's the off-center strike, where the coin's design is not perfectly aligned, resulting in part of the design being cut off. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Another favorite among collectors is the double die error. This is when the coin is struck more than once but slightly off from the original position, causing doubling in the inscriptions or design elements. On some 2021 quarters, subtle doubling has been reported in the words "Crossing the Delaware" or on Washington's silhouette. If you have sharp eyes and spot this, you could be looking at a high-value piece. And let's not forget the rare instances of the wrong planchet error, where a quarter is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a dime or nickel. These errors are extremely rare and can make a coin incredibly desirable to advanced collectors. Now, let's talk condition, because it matters more than you might think. A coin fresh from a bankroll might look shiny, but to qualify as mint state, MS, or even proof, it needs to be in near-perfect condition. No scratches, no wear, and razor-sharp details. Coins graded MS 67 and above are especially hard to find, and those with rare errors in such condition are in a league of their own. Collectors seek these out not just because of value, but because of what they represent, a rare alignment of history, error, and immaculate preservation. Now imagine this. You're going through your change, maybe rolling up quarters for laundry, and suddenly, you notice something odd. A chunk of metal where it shouldn't be, or a slightly tilted design. Maybe even letters that look doubled or smeared. Your heart skips a beat. Could this be one of those coins? Because among the hundreds of millions of 2021 quarters, only a handful contain these minting mistakes. And of that handful, only a few have been preserved in perfect condition. So, what is the real-world value of a coin like this? A 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter with a dramatic mint error, whether it's a massive off-center strike, a bold die break, or a double die in pristine condition, can sell for a jaw-dropping sum. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, a rare 2021 Washington quarter, with the right error, in top mint state condition, has been valued at up to $80,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $80,000 for a coin minted just a few years ago, and one you might easily overlook as everyday change. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt, a puzzle, and sometimes, a golden opportunity. So go check your coin jar. Look through those fresh bankrolls. Take a second glance at the change from the grocery store, because the next great discovery could be waiting for you to notice it. Top 3, we're going to dive deep into a coin that isn't just a piece of metal, it's a tribute, a work of art, and for a lucky few, a potential jackpot. We're talking about the 2022 Washington quarter dollar featuring the legendary Maya Angelou. Yes, you heard that right. A coin minted just recently could already be worth a small fortune, and the story behind it will leave you both inspired and amazed. Now, let's begin by setting the stage. In 2022, the U.S. Mint launched the American Women Quarters program, a bold new initiative to honor groundbreaking women who shaped American history, culture, and society. And it's only fitting that the very first woman to grace this series was none other than Maya Angelou, poet, memoirist, activist, and icon. Her life's work touched millions, and this coin is a powerful reminder of her voice, her strength, and her unshakable spirit. Now, if you've seen this quarter before, you know it stands out. On the obverse side, we have a refreshed portrait of George Washington. Not the classic left-facing version we're all used to, but a bold, right-facing profile sculpted by the artist Laura Garden Fraser. Originally designed for the 1932 quarter, but finally given its rightful place in 2022. But it's the reverse side that steals the spotlight. Maya Angelou stands with arms uplifted in a posture of grace and strength. Behind her, a majestic bird in flight, a reference to her iconic work, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Sun rays shine around her, evoking hope and new beginnings. It's a design that speaks volumes. And as collectors know, meaningful designs often become timeless treasures. But let's talk rarity. You might be thinking, this is a modern coin. How rare can it be? Well, that's where things get interesting. While millions of these quarters were produced for general circulation, what truly matters in the world of numismatics is condition, scarcity, and most importantly, errors. Let's start with condition. Coins that are found in mint state, meaning they're virtually flawless and haven't been handled or scratched, are significantly more valuable than ones pulled from change. Now, pair that pristine condition with a rare minting error, and you've got a recipe for something extraordinary. One such error that's been making waves in the collector world is the struck-through grease error. This happens when grease or debris clogs the coin die, resulting in a blurry or missing design element. On some Maya Angelou quarters, parts of the inscriptions or even sections of the eagle or Maya's figure are faint or completely absent. These oddities are not damage, they're authentic mint errors, and they're worth money. Then there's the die clash error, where the dies strike each other without a coin planchet in between, leaving behind ghostly impressions of the opposing side's design. These can show up as faint outlines or doubled images and are highly sought after by collectors for their uniqueness. Even more valuable are the off-center strikes, where the entire design is shifted to one side, or double die errors, where parts of the coin, especially the text like E pluribus unum or Maya Angelou, appear doubled or distorted. And here's where it gets really exciting. A small number of these 2022 quarters have surfaced with what's believed to be a planchet error, where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal blank, sometimes intended for other denominations like nickels or foreign coins. These ultra-rare anomalies are like golden tickets in the world of coin collecting. So why do collectors go crazy over these errors? Because they are accidents that the mint never intended to release. They're rare by nature. They break the mold, literally, and they often go unnoticed in the fast-paced process of coin production. That makes them not just mistakes, but marvels. Now, imagine you're at home, sorting through spare change, or maybe opening a fresh roll of quarters from the bank. You pull out a shiny 2022 Maya Angelou quarter, and something about it looks off. Maybe the bird looks a little smudged. Maybe Maya's name looks like it's printed twice. You check the edge, no damage. Your hands start to shake just a little. Could it be one of those rare ones? This is the excitement of coin hunting. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the joy of holding something truly unique. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. One of these rare 2022 Maya Angelou quarters, bearing a dramatic mint error and preserved in top-tier, uncirculated mint condition, has been evaluated and appraised in the coin collector's market for $77,000. Yes, you heard correctly, $77,000. For a coin you could easily overlook in your everyday change. So don't dismiss modern coins. Don't ignore what's jingling in your pocket or sitting in your coin jar. Because the next valuable piece of American history could be right there, just waiting to be discovered. Top 4, we're taking a fascinating journey into the world of a classic American coin, the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1986. This coin might look familiar, something you've probably seen countless times in your pocket or coin jars. But listen very carefully, because beneath its common surface lies a treasure trove of rare varieties and errors that can make it incredibly valuable to collectors worldwide. The 1986 Washington Quarter is part of a long-running series that started back in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This series has been one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. But what sets the 1986 quarter apart? Let's dive into the details. First off, the 1986 quarters were minted in the Philadelphia and Denver mints, producing millions of coins. On the surface, they might seem ordinary, but what collectors love to hunt for are those unusual, rare mint errors and varieties. Flaws born from the minting process that transform a simple quarter into a collector's gem. One of the most sought-after features on the 1986 quarter is the presence of double die errors. This happens during the coin's creation when the design is impressed twice with a slight misalignment, creating a shadow or doubled appearance on the lettering or design elements. Look closely at the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" and the date. Some 1986 quarters show a distinct doubling effect that sets them apart from their perfectly struck cousins. These errors are prized because they're relatively scarce and visually fascinating. Another rare variant collectors chase is the die crack error. Sometimes, the coin dies develop tiny cracks during production, and these cracks transfer onto the coins themselves. For the 1986 Washington Quarter, some coins display noticeable raised lines that run through the design or fields of the coin. These die cracks may seem like imperfections, but to collectors, they tell a story and add uniqueness, pushing the coin's value up significantly. Then there's the mysterious off-center strike, where the coin is struck but the design is misaligned so that parts of the image fall off the edge. For a coin from 1986, an off-center strike can be dramatic and highly collectible. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. But rarity isn't just about errors. Condition plays a massive role. The 1986 quarter is widely circulated, meaning most coins show wear and tear scratches, nicks, and faded details. However, finding one in uncirculated mint state condition, with all the original sharp details and no signs of use, is like striking gold for collectors. These pristine coins command premium prices in the market. Now, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1986 Washington quarter that combines these factors, such as a mint state coin with a notable error like doubling or a die crack, you're holding a very special piece indeed. And here's where things get truly exciting. Over the years, some exceptional 1986 quarters have been sold at auction or through private collectors for astonishing sums, especially those with rare double die or off-center strikes in mint condition. So, what could this coin be worth if you have one of these rare gems tucked away? The answer might just surprise you. A 1986 Washington quarter dollar with a significant mint error, preserved in top uncirculated condition, can be valued at as much as $74,000. That's right, $74,000 for a coin minted not so long ago, and one that many overlook every day. So next time you're sorting through your spare change, take a moment to inspect those quarters carefully. Look for doubling in the letters, cracks in the design, or any off-center features. What may look like an imperfection might be your ticket to a serious collector's prize. Top 5. We're zooming in on a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but if you listen closely and look carefully, you'll discover it holds an extraordinary secret. We're talking about the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1994. This particular year's quarter isn't just another piece of pocket change. It's a fascinating specimen with unique quirks that have made it a prized collector's item. The 1994 Washington quarter was minted during a time when millions of quarters were circulating through the United States, making it seem like just another common coin. But here's the catch: among the massive number of coins produced, a handful show rare and intriguing mint errors and varieties that can transform this everyday coin into a highly valuable collectible. Let's start by examining what makes the 1994 quarter stand out. Like all Washington quarters, it features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, a design that has graced American coins since 1932. The reverse, at that time, sported the classic eagle design. But it's not just the artistry that collectors are after, it's the surprises hidden in the minting process. One of the most captivating aspects that make the 1994 quarter rare is the existence of double die errors. These happen when the coin's design is struck more than once with a slight misalignment, causing certain elements like the words "Liberty" or the date 1994 to appear doubled or shadowed. To the untrained eye, this might look like a smudge or minor flaw, but for coin collectors, it's a golden opportunity. These double die varieties are scarce and sought after because they're tangible evidence of the intricate and imperfect process of coin production. But the 1994 quarters story doesn't stop there. Some of these coins also exhibit die cracks, raised lines that appear on the coin's surface caused by small fractures in the coin die. These cracks can run across the fields or through design elements, turning a normal coin into an extraordinary one. Every crack tells a unique story about the stress endured by the minting tools and makes the coin more appealing to collectors who value distinctiveness. Another fascinating variety to look out for is the off-center strike error. In these coins, the design is struck so far off the center that part of the image is missing or cut off. Imagine holding a coin where George Washington's face is partially off the edge. These dramatic errors are rare, eye-catching, and highly collectible. The more pronounced the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin typically becomes, and of course, condition plays a huge role. Since the 1994 quarters were widely circulated, most examples show signs of wear, faded details, scratches, or discoloration. But a mint-state 1994 quarter, one that has been preserved without any handling or wear, is far more valuable, especially if it exhibits one of the rare error varieties mentioned. So, why all the fuss over a coin minted less than 3 decades ago? Because in the world of numismatics, rarity and uniqueness drive value. When an error coin from a seemingly common year pops up in pristine condition, collectors take notice, and competition among buyers can drive the price sky high. Now, let's talk value. If you've got your hands on a 1994 Washington quarter dollar that is both in mint condition and displays a rare minting error like a double die crack, or a major off-center strike, you're looking at a truly remarkable find. Such coins have been known to fetch prices reaching as high as $71,000. Yes, $71,000 for a quarter that may have been jingling in pockets just a few years ago. So the next time you're sorting through your change, take a closer look at those quarters. Check for doubling in the letters, unusual lines or cracks, and off-center designs. The coin you overlook might just be your next prized possession. If you found this deep dive into the hidden world of the 1994 Washington quarter fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on future incredible coin discoveries. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, happy collecting and happy hunting.